That was beautiful. If you get the chance, you really should go. It's really moving. The Bowfin is open. We just bought our tickets. They do offer a military discount, so if you're a service member or a retired service member, you can get a discount here. They have free audio guides. We picked one up and it kind of like just takes you on a whole tour of the sub, so we're gonna go check it out. Well, that was pretty cool.
We just bought tickets for the Battleship Missouri. We are in the shuttle. It is taking us there now.
We are here at the Missouri, but before we go in, I wanted to throw you some facts about the Bowfin. It was launched 1 year to the day after the attack on Pearl Harbor. So December 7th, 1942. It was known as the Avenger of Pearl Harbor, and if I remember correct, it sunk 44 enemy ships during its time. We're about to go to the Missouri. This is a really neat bookend for the war. From the Missouri, you can see the Arizona, which started our time in World War II. And then from the Missouri, you can stand where they signed Japan's surrender, which was the end of World War II. So it's really incredible to have these two really meaningful points back to back. Just outside the Missouri is the memorial for the USS Oklahoma. That's what we're checking out right now before we go ahead and go on. If you are interested in World War II history at all and the naval fleet of everything, the name Nimitz will mean something to you. It's kind of cool to be here and see statues of him and all these things talking about Nimitz because he's from Texas, and if you watch way back in our vlogs, we spent a day in Fredericksburg. We went to the Nimitz Museum there in Fredericksburg where he was from, so it's just wild to be here in Hawaii and know his face every time we walk by. just wrapped up a small half-hour tour. It's included with your admission price. Highly recommend taking it. There's so much history attached to the ship. We could spend days here just talking about it. So definitely do that. It hits a lot of the highlights. It hits the surrender, all of the paperwork that was signed for that, everything that happened on deck. You get to hear about that. And then you also get to hear about the kamikaze pilot that hit the ship and the burial that they did for that pilot at sea. It's just, there's so much. There's so much history. We could talk 4 days.
I also learned about the ship's history after World War II, which it had a long history after that. It fought up into like Desert Storm. Yeah. So it's more than just World War II history as well.
I think they decommissioned it, if I remember, in 92. So a long while after World War II.
Definitely take the tour, though, because it's well worth it. And it doesn't take that long.
No, half hour. Totally worth it.
Now we're going to just walk around for about another hour and check out some more stuff. And then we're going to the
Aviation Museum. We are in the Aviation Museum. This is also a separate ticket that you have to buy. I think there's like a group ticket that you can buy that gets you into more things, but it kind of depends on what all you can fit into one day. We are cramming a lot into one day, but this is amazing. I'm ecstatic. You get to also go in another hangar, and I think that one is like in a more original condition to the day that the Pearl Harbor attacks happened. So we're gonna go through this one, and then we'll check out the last one. I'll approve you getting a motorcycle if you ride that one.
This one, right with you?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's an F-86. No, I'm sorry. That's an F-86 behind it. This is a 104. This one,
Did you work on any of these?
no. They were retired before I started.
Ah.
Oh, it's a T-33. Should have known it. T-33 was a trainer.
Oh.
And later on, they got the T-37, and they are the loudest planes I ever heard in my life. And they called them Tweety Bird. And oh my God. Same, but the technology wasn't there for the metal. And it would actually outfly its structural capability, and it'd fly the wings right off the plane.
But then they did this after that.
69, the Air Force fielded nearly 300 of these.
Wow.
Other nations, including Japan, Persia, it's all engine. It's all engine.
Yeah.
It's you and an engine.
Wow.
Produced them from up until 2004. They were still making them.
Wow.
Germany was one of the last places to have. There it is, Germany. Yeah. And it was dubbed the Widowmaker because if you didn't know how to fly this thing, it killed you.
And what is this one?
This is an F-86. It has 6 guns in the nose.
Oh, wow.
And she ripped up some.
This is what gets me. Look at
Yeah. Once this compresses the air into the first set of blades, and then they compress it again and again and again. Then they add fuel, and then they add igniters, and it's like a kerosene fire. Once you get it going, it'll stay lit until you shut the fuel off. But what's blowing out the ass end by the time it's a 600-mile-an-hour freaking airplane.
So was this? Could you see through it, or is this?
No.
It just doesn't have anything
You would see blades right there, and that's all you would see. So they started at A and went. So they modified.
So this is the creme de la creme.
This is the top of the line one. Very similar, except my fenders come straight out, and the doors will. But there wasn't anything in it.
Yeah.
To see one of these, because I know the ones on Hickam, the pillars are twisted.
From the heat.
Here, where they exploded and came through. There's some that are ripped apart.
Wow.
And they structurally checked it, and they said, we're leaving it. We're
Wow.
not going to fix this. Okay, let's see what we got here. Flying switchblade. That ain't what we call it. We call it an aardvark.
But it doesn't really say what.
Well, if it's an A model,
It's
I worked
freaking
on it.
huge, man. What was the worst part about working on them?
I'll show you.
Oh, this is Australian, huh?
Yeah, this is a C model. Okay. This part here, this part will squeeze in, and this part will move out. And it has a brake right here. And this cowl will move forward about that far. So when they're on the ground, he can go ahead and restrict the air, and it's sucking in air right here. So when we're doing an engine run, if there's any vapor on the ground right here, it'll make a tornado and just suck it right in there, right? And then when you close it, it makes a bigger one up here, and it sucks it completely in.
Wow.
So this is a cowl. That's what they call it, movable cowl. Yeah,
Do these
see,
wings?
It's a
does
Charlie.
Does this wing fold out?
This wing, this is the Delta configuration. It can't take off this way. It has to, they're put out, and you have slats and flaps on this. And then as you get to supersonic,
They
you can
fold
put
back
the
in.
wings back in. And this is all manual. This is not digital. The pilot has to do it at the right time. So this, I've had a lot of experience in this thing, because if you come into my office right here, and come under here, you watch right there. See that? That's a kidney panel right here. And man, I have scars from hitting that as you come in. She's intact. She's very much intact. This door opens up and becomes a air brake when they're landing. And as the gear, they can, when the whole thing's closed up, this gear will swing up into here, and the tires end up right here. And then the door folds in and catches the whole thing. Now, we had a lot of things get busted. We broke one of these. We almost knocked it off jacks doing that. It wasn't us. Somebody had removed some of their electrical controls for the landing gear to tell it when to swing and when this door should open. And it crossed up. So the landing gear and the door tried to close on jacks at the same time, and the whole aircraft moved 3 feet forward. Because this is heavy, and it shifted because you stopped it in movement. Boom! So the whole, and the jacks go under the wings and one under the tail. And I was given the pure honor. This thing is starting to sound like popcorn, and it's cracking because all the pressure of this actuator is trying to close, and then this one is trying to pull up at the same time. And God, this is familiar. Here's the brake controller, here's the accumulators, here's one system. This is the primary, this is the secondary, these are filters, these are bottles to blow the gear down and the nose down, and here's your hook to get everything hooked onto it. Wow, they got a sticker in it with a British. It says F-111 disposal team. You know what they did with some of these? They buried them in Australia.
Oh, really?
Because they have toxic chemicals, so they weren't going to deal with them, so they buried them. They took them to the dump, dug a hole, and put them in it.
Wow.
know? I watched a video about it. I'd never seen it. These little guys here are peanut gauges to show you how much air pressure you have in there. This over here is all your hydraulic gauges to tell you how much pressure is here. Electronic controls, fuel, air. This is where I lived for 4 years.
Wow.
And I hated coming out with the damn kidney pedal.
Oh yeah, it's right there.
Get
Yeah,
it,
man,
get
and
lower,
it hits you
get
right in the kidney, man. And I mean, it drew blood.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it drew blood. I'm surprised. Yeah, they got the collar on it. Otherwise, I could push that down. This one has 5 layers afterburner. Okay, and there's the flame holder that controls the flame. Okay, the tail feathers, they can come all the way in to where they're that size, right there, and it makes that extra compression, and then you'll get a yellow-blue flame, a yellow-blue flame, a yellow-blue flame, a yellow-blue flame, and it goes down in rings, and that's how all the afterburner is working. So we would run one engine at a time, and I didn't come back here and look in it, but you come back and you stand to the side and you see all of them go.
Oh, cool.
And the cool thing about this airplane also is the stabs. These are called stabs instead of ailerons. The ailerons are on the wing. Stabs, you got a rudder and a stab. The stabilizers on this, the actuator's inside here. This has got chaff and flare. The actuator in here, that little one plate right there, you take it out and there's a pin in there, and you take the panels off the top to take the actuator out that operates this. But they would come through, and they don't have it locked. Okay, they've got probably some. Anyways, you bump them, and they would go on both sides of them. And they'll sit down, right? And that's what we used to do. Is you come out and boom, they drop. So you got fuel in the tail, and that's your fuel dump. And this is the plane. You can watch it on video, especially the Australians. They were famous for doing it. They did it over the 2018, so whatever, Olympics.
Yeah.
He's dumping fuel and he hits the afterburner and it lights it up, man. And it just lights up the damn sky as he's going.
Oh, cool.
So this was my lady. This is the only other people that had it were the Australians, and they had the C models. I worked on the A's and the EFs, which was the radar jammer one that blocked out LAX.
Yeah.
So I was all over this thing. This one is in good shape.
So cool.
Man, I am impressed. B-lamp, paint B-lamp. The pivot point on this wing is right in there, and it's a bearing about this big. So the whole load of this wing is on that bearing, that one bearing when it comes out. And so as they get up to higher speeds, they can start bringing the wings back, and then they just Mach 2.5.
Wow.
She'll fly like a dart.
Wow.
And you won't ever hear it coming. That's why they call it whispering death. because it's moving so fast. It's ahead of its own shock wave. And the shock wave in front of the plane is, when they flew it hard TFR, and I've seen videos, all the videos are on YouTube, the old ones, how they learned how to do it, how they control it. It's all controlled with computers, early computers, but it would push dirt. That's why it's called an aardvark. It would push dirt in front of the aircraft and then leave this huge dust cloud behind it. You couldn't see it.
Wow.
So.
Dad, get in here. You can throw your 2 cents in a minute too.
Please don't. My arm, it's not gonna last that long.
We can do it. That is day 2 done. Pearl Harbor was amazing. I highly recommend coming.
Definitely take the tour if you get on this ship, because it was very nice to be told some things you probably don't know from history.
What do you think, Dad?
Hey, and if you can get on the island without with a military ID, look for the old storybook telling of what happened on a walk.
Yeah, we learned that they have like a big walk around the island that we may go try to do tomorrow, since he does have a military ID and he can get us on in a personal car. So we're maybe going to go check that out tomorrow. Definitely do the Arizona if you can. The Battleship was amazing. The Bowfin was amazing. The Aviation Museum was mind-blowing. All of it is 100% worth it. It is on the pricier side, but do keep in mind that every penny that you pay for a ticket or for merchandise or for food, whatever, so much of that money funnels right back into these museums to keep them up and running for future generations.
Also, the window in the Mustang was down on the passenger side when we got back, but nothing's missing, so that's good.
Hey, and it didn't get towed.
Nope.